Back to our top story this hour. For more on the passing of rapper aka let's bring in SABC News senior reporter Jade Paulse, who's watching developments around the story for us. Jade, thank you so much for your time this hour. So I recall your conversation earlier on with the Colonel, and it would seem like details are still trickling in. So what more are we learning at this hour?
Well, a very good morning, and yes, details are quite sketchy. I mean, there were reports that it was a drive-by shooting, and then we were told that the assailants walked across the street. What we can confirm, police are saying that there were two vehicles. The assailants jumped out of those vehicles and walked across the street and then gunned down aka, as well as one of his friends. I'm also told there's information coming through that there was also a bodyguard who was wounded, and that bodyguard is still in hospital. We're going to try and ascertain that information. The second friend, reports are saying it is Tebello Tibz Motsoane. We're not yet sure if this is true yet, but this is what reports are coming in. Police have also not confirmed this with us. The second person was one of AKA's longtime friends, Tibz. From the last time we spoke, this particular area behind me has been cordoned off by the organized crime unit within SABC. They have told me they are now taking over this investigation, and they are going to be finding out what exactly happened. Earlier on, we were seeing a lot of foot traffic and people coming out to see where exactly AKA was shot dead last night. And I must tell you, there's a lot of people coming out to this particular area in Florida Road, also to, pass on their condolences. Some have been playing their music as a sign of celebrating AKA's life. Also, many children just standing on the sidewalks, just in complete and utter disbelief at what is currently taking place. I've also got a source that has told me that AKA's mother, Forbes, is flying in from Johannesburg. She will be landing at King Shaka International Airport and will be making her way to the mortuary. We do have another team on the ground, Vusi Kumalo. He will be monitoring those developments at the mortuary. I want to bring in some more eyewitnesses and those that were on the scene at the time that this happened. This gentleman tells me that he arrived just a few hours after AKA was gunned down, as well as his friend. Just talk us through, what did you see last night?
Okay, good morning, Jade. Like you've explained, the incident actually happened around 10 o'clock. The news sort of filtered through social media. We got it like 11, 12 o'clock. I got it around 12, 1 o'clock, and I made my way down here because knowing Florida Road, this is the place that we come down to chill, to relax, have a meal. These kind of things don't happen here. So when I got here, I came down Florida Road, and this entire area was actually cordoned off. And there were forensics just behind me here. It was actually cordoned off with the umbrellas, and the forensics guys were working. There were very few people around here because I think the news hadn't actually filtered through. But having spoken to those guys who were around the scene, there was guys who actually come through. Initially, we thought it was just AKA, but then it came to our knowledge that there had been another fatality and someone else was wounded. So apparently, he had supposed to perform at Hugo, and I think he had come here to have a meal or something, and he was just chilling outside. And the sad reality was, when we found out here, like everyone is in shock and disbelief because this doesn't happen here. What I witnessed was an absolute somber scene. It was a scene of death. It was a scene of, like a dark cloud had come over Florida Road, which we know to be a beautiful leafy suburb, which we come to celebrate and enjoy, and food. It's our place of happiness. So, coming here this morning, because behind you we come to Seattle to have our coffee here in the morning, you can feel there's a bit of doom and gloom around here. That's it.
You can hear the cars going past and just playing some of his music. Just last night, when the eyewitnesses were standing and the bodies were strewn on the pavement, what were some of the talks from people? Were they in complete utter disbelief?
To be honest, having spoken to people, I was standing and speaking to people across here. The questions that were asked were, why would they do some? Why would he be a victim of a murder? This guy deserved that. Who's done it? Also, in terms of the kind of place that it's done. It was just doom and gloom. We were all very heavy-hearted. Remember, this is a guy who a lot of people have followed from the start of his career, and he made it to the echelons of music, the rap music. He made himself the #1 artist. So it was disbelief, a lot of heaviness, a lot of questions that people wanted to ask, but at the same time, we don't really know what actually transpired. So a lot of question marks. I would imagine there's still a lot of question marks. My message to Mum, I would imagine that she's taking it the hardest. My sympathies and condolences go out to his mum and his family.
Before I let you go, I just want to ask you, there has been talks from some of the patrons that I spoke to this morning with regards to safety in this particular precinct, at this particular road of Florida. Many are saying that, weapons are just brazenly taken out by some people. Not a lot of law enforcement trying to combat the fact that the weapons are coming into to Florida Road. Have you seen, as being a patron that often comes here?
Listen, I come to Florida Road at least 2 or 3 times a day, right? From the bottom of the road, we have Empire State all the way to the top here where we have restaurants and everything. Across the road, we have a neighborhood, we have the police there, right? But however, what actually transpires and what's filtering into Florida Road seems to be something that's nefarious, something that's gangster, and I think it needs to be nipped in the bud, because what's actually transpired last night, for this to happen here, there's some sort of underworld or some sort of evil. I won't say evil, but what I would say is that there are bad elements filtering into Florida Road. Yeah?
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, Jane.
Well, there you have it. One eyewitness that came to the particular crime scene after AKA as well as his friend were gunned down here. Like I said, we spoke to the KZN spokesperson, Robert Netshahunda, who confirmed 2 people had passed on, that being AKA. The second person, a lot of reports saying that it is Tibz, one of his friends, business partner. That has not yet been confirmed yet. We are still awaiting that confirmation from police. As I told you, information has been sketchy. A third person was also wounded. That person is still in hospital. It is said to be the bodyguard of AKA. Organized crime has taken over the crime scene. They're going to be investigating what transpired last night. We'll be bringing you all the latest throughout the course of the day. It's back to you.
Jade, that's shocking indeed. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I understand that the gentleman you just spoke to just said that there were police just across the road when this incident happened. And I know that you also had a conversation with the colonel a bit earlier on when he says that, details are still coming in. As far as developments on the side of the authorities, what are you hearing at this point?
So when I spoke to police, they said that at the time there was load shedding as well, because we were experiencing load shedding, and there were patrols by police being done. One of the eyewitnesses that I spoke to this morning said there was actually a police officer across the road before the incident took place. But unfortunately, with load shedding, this particular area was quite dark. So that's the information that we're receiving.
All right, Jade Paulse out there on that story for us. We'll be touching base with her a bit later on in the bulletin as and when details as well as developments continue in the story.